Good evening. Just a little after 11 o'clock here in New Brunswick. Beautiful early summer evening, the first evening of summer, I guess. Just looking back through the chat there. Looks like Gerald might be along tonight. Hello, Gerald. And Chloe. Great to see you, Chloe. Alyssa, hi. Did you get Liam to sleep or is he with you? Hi, Ginger. Liam's asleep. Okay, good for him. It's currently 17 degrees Celsius, which is, I think, about 62 or 63 Fahrenheit. The wind is kind of increasing from the southwest, currently around 15 kilometers per hour, although it looks like it might be a bit more than that. Clear skies. I can't show you the moon and Venus because they've both gone down below the horizon already, or at least down below the tree line. So let's move in and see who's at the sheet. I haven't even taken a peek. I turned the lights on a couple of hours ago, or an hour ago, I guess. Just gonna set the flood. See some slugs in the grass. It's definitely slug season here. There are lots and lots of slugs. All right, oh, I see a pretty big moth over here, a sphinx moth. Looks like it might be our one-eyed sphinx. Just give me a second here to turn the light on. A little ring light. There we go. One-eyed sphinx is one we've seen a number of times. Rachel, hi. Thanks for joining us, Rachel. I'll try not to. I don't know if you get creeped out by insects or not, but I'll be careful what I show you. This is the beauty here. This is a one-eyed sphinx. Caterpillars of this species feed on apple and cherry, plum, and there is an apple tree. Now, it's too far away, there's not enough light. There's an apple tree right beside us here, a big August apple tree. This species, remember, has one big eye spot on the hind wing you might be able to take a peek at. There it is, surrounded by pink. Beautiful moth. Remember those bands on the cloth are a little less than half an inch. So this moth is sort of top to bottom, covering about 4 bands. Just move over here a little ways to plain-shouldered dart, an old friend of ours that we've seen many times. This one feeds on a variety of plants, including some deciduous trees and some bushes and shrubs and grasses. Feeds on a wide variety of plants. It's very common at my lights, but nobody else in New Brunswick seems to get many for some reason. And here's another old friend that we see a lot of on every stream, I think, the powdered big wing. Great blue heron calling. Powdered big wing, I see another one right here. And underneath the sphinx, I just noticed there's a Morrison's Pero, it's called, this beauty under here. Morrison's Pero, P-E-R-O. Crane fly, trying to bump the moth out of the way. Oh, here's one of these big Microphorus beetles. I'm just looking to see if there are any mites on this one. I don't see any. Usually if there are any, they're on the sort of the thorax or pronotum, a big round area behind the head. These chompers are going there. I don't know if he's caught something on the sheet or just wants to show us that he can bite. I've handled these, I've never been bitten by one. Their main defense is that I told you before, they have a chemical that they can release that's really, really smelly. It almost makes you want to run when you smell it. Nice antenna. Got a big moth on my ear. Not sure what it was. So these are called, they're in the genus Microphorus. The group that they're in are called sexton beetles, S-E-X-T-O-N, sexton beetles. Here's another flame-shouldered dart up here. Another flame-shouldered dart up there. Who else is over on this side here? Carpet moth. This would be, I think this is the sharp angled carpet moth. Some kind of a pug. Pugs are a difficult group to identify the species, but they're all in the same genus, Epithecea, and they're all shaped the same. They have long wings that they hold straight out to the side. They often have markings on their abdomens, like this one does, a dark band and a pale band forward of that. It's another sharp-angled carpet moth. Here's some kind of a beetle. Oh, it's a rove. This is a rove beetle, R-O-V-E. That's the name of the family of beetles that they're in. And they can be identified by the short elytra. Beetles have these hard shell coverings over their wings that are called elytra. And usually they cover the entire wings, but on rove beetles they only go down about a third of the way or sometimes half the way. You can see on this one the elytra are kind of rusty colored, and everything behind that are the bare exposed wings that are folded up. Not sure what that is. I think it's some kind of a caddisfly. That little fellow there. This is the brother moth. We've seen quite a few times. When they shiver like this, it usually indicates they're about to fly away. And there he goes. Okay, that one flew. Let's try the other side of the sheet here. Oh, I see a Baltimore snout, which we haven't seen before. This is one of the snout moths that have these long palps that stick up in front of their head and often curve up. This one's called Baltimore snout. Beautiful, beautiful moth. Some people partying somewhere up the road or over on the island. I don't know if you can hear them shouting or not. This is a common Gluphisia, another moth we see, I think we've seen on all of our streams. And here's one of these green metallic. I wasn't sure what these were the first few times I showed them to you, but I now know they're in the family, same family that June bugs are in. They're called, that family really is called, they're called May beetles. I think I was telling you I thought these were monkey beetles, but that's a different family. These are actually a type of May beetle. Like sort of a green iridescence on the wings, and where the wings join, it's kind of a purple iridescence. All right, here's another brother moth. This one isn't shivering like the other one was. Oh, here's a really metallic moth. I forget what the genus is, Coleophora, I think. Coleophora, Coleophora. And there are a few most Coleophoras are whitish with some darker streaking. There are a few that are just metallic color, like this one's a greenish metallic color. And you can see it's about 13, maybe 13 millimeters long, about half an inch. Here's a three-lined balsa that we have seen several times. Their caterpillars feed on apples, on apple trees. And other things too. I'm sure they probably feed on cherries. Oh, here's sorry, I pushed the power button. My iPad froze temporarily. This is a really common moth, but I'm not going to be able to. Here's something interesting. Nice little micro moth with some nice markings on the back. I don't have the name for the species, but I know I've seen it before. Oh my God. Look over here. This is huge, first of all. It's a relative of the Cecropia moth, but it's not a Cecropia. I'm going to put some fingers there for you to see the size. Columbia silk moth just came to me. I think that's the name. Definitely. Oh my God, there's another one on my hand. It's on the iPad. It's on my jacket. It's on the sheet. Wow. So Columbia silk moth. Quite sure that's the name of this species. And I could be wrong, but I kind of think that the larvae, the caterpillars feed on larch. Look at the antenna. This is clearly a male. This big feathery antenna. Ginger says, what is larch? Larch is type of tree. It's a coniferous tree, but it actually loses its needles in the winter. Tamarack is another common name for larch. Hackmatack has a lot of common names. I'm sure you have larches in Tamarack. Yeah. Here's the other one on my. Oh, I had this zoomed in a bit, unfortunately. Ginger, you're so fast at the computer. Could you check Columbia silk moth? See if it looks like this. Danielle was wondering if it weighs more than a hummingbird. You know, I bet it does. Ruby-throated hummingbirds weigh like sort of between 3 and 6 grams. I bet you these weigh closer to 10 grams. It's really a big, big body. And hi to Danielle. Ginger, did you, okay. I don't know how to check the link, so did it look like a match to you, or am I way off? I'm really rusty with the names because I haven't. This is what they look like. That is what they look like? Yes? Okay, good. Great, thank you, Ginger and Alyssa. I've really only been looking at moths this year for a few nights. Most years, since 2015 when I started moth watching, I'm out looking at moths every night from April until November. And normally by now I would have most of the names recalled, or I would have looked them up, but this year I've been ignoring moths. And getting older every year, so I'm forgetting a lot of things that I used to know. That's a brother moth, an interesting moth. Not sure what this one is, but it's some type of a geometer moth. And it looks familiar, so it's probably one I've seen many times before, but I just can't pull the name up. It's a ground beetle. This one has some green iridescence on the wings. I think the legs are kind of orangish too on that species. Sorry, I don't know why I always end up putting insects in the top left corner of the iPad. That's where the camera and the light are. I guess that's why I keep doing it, but there's no need to do that. And he's gone. I've still got a Columbia silk moth on the iPad. Oh, he's off now. This one seems to be even bigger than the other one. I don't know why. It's got a big moth. Oh, there's a June bug underneath of him. These beautiful green blackberry looper. some kind of a carpet moth in the genus Hydriomena, but I'm not sure the species. There's several. It's a tough genus, Hydriomena. It's a nice moth, but I think it's a scallop wing. It's called a scallop wing. This one's very worn. The edges are all frayed. But even when the species is fresh, it has beautiful scalloping all along the trailing edges of the wings. Let's take a look here. There's one we haven't seen before. This one is, it's in the genus Pococera. Poco, P-O-C-O, Cera, C-E-R-A, Pococera. I think it may be a species that feeds on maple. That's a rove beetle just below it and to the left. I'm just looking around to see if I'm missing anything. This is a white-banded toothed carpet moth. You've seen that species a few times. White-banded toothed carpet moth. It's a mouthful. Another one up here. White-banded toothed carpet moth. Columbia silk moth is still sitting here on the shingles. Take a closer look at the antenna. So those are special adaptations on the antenna that the males have for picking up the pheromones that the females produce. Hi, Brianna. Yeah, this is a Columbia silk moth, Brianna. We ordered it just for you. There's another one on my hand right now, Brianna. I don't know where you went. These Columbia silk moths, I was telling the others, feeds on larch, which is a type of tree. Here in New Brunswick, we only have two larches, eastern larch, which is a wide distribution in North America, and we also have European larch, which is introduced from Europe, of course. There's the other Columbia silk moth. This is a lacewing. They're not moths. They're not even related. It's called a green lacewing. Ginger asked if that was a male too. Well, that's a good question. Here it is. It looks like it may not be. Or at least the antennae weren't as feathered as the other one. I have to watch where I'm stepping. I have to wait till it settles down a little more. I forget what I was talking about before that. Probably nothing important. It's a nice click beetle. Most click beetles are quite large. They're long and slender like this, and usually have sharply pointed corners on their pronotum. That's the part of the body forward of the wings and short of the head. See if I can zoom in a bit here. So the head on most beetles is very small. It's just you don't really see much of the head. It's just where the antennae are attached. The big area behind that, the big round area, is thorax or the pronotum. And on tick beetles, the rear corner of the pronotum is usually sharply pointed. I just can't seem to get enough light to show that. Maybe if I could trick the camera into producing more light. No. Oh, here's a nice, this is called a pink-barred glyph. Didn't stay long. Oh, it's right there. Pink-barred or pink-banded, I think it's pink-barred glyph. And those bars on the wings are actually pinkish. I think it's pink-barred glyph is Glyph. Pretty small. Looks like it's about 15 millimeters long. Yeah, one antenna is shorter than the other. Yeah, they really are pink. I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not, but they're not pink, but they're pink. Sorry, I'm shaking so much. Try to brace. This one has a weird common name. It's the first word is bog, and the second part is the genus, which is Biba rambla. Biba rambla, like Bibba. Rambla is Rhambla. Ridiculous name. I don't know why they haven't given it a better common name, but it's bog Biba rambla. You got it, Ginger. I don't know how you did that from my mumbling. So, a little small moth we've seen before in the genus Ancyllis, Ancyllis. I think the species is Goodell's. This is Goodell's Ancyllis, but I'm not certain on that. Oh. Well, Dan, some of the moths don't have good common names. They're still using the genus for the common name. Sorry for all the movement. That's the common gluphisia that we saw earlier. Ooh, what's this one up here? That's called it's like a green dotted glyph. It's this one's really worn, so it's not showing us much. When they're fresh, they have a nice green patch in the middle of the back. You can sort of get an idea of that here. And they have a black spot sort of in the middle of the wing. We'll call it green dotted glyph until I find out what the real name is. It's actually closely related to this one, the pink barred glyph. Here's our white spring moth. All white above and below, except there's sort of a brownish wash on the forewing, brownish wash along the leading edge of the forewing. That's Pocacera species. Flame-shouldered dart. The brother. Okay, I'm going to look around and see if it's safe to move. Back to this side again. Oh, here's a sigmoid. This is called the sigmoid prominent. It's a beautiful moth. Sigmoid prominent. We have 3 or 4 closely related species. You've seen those, Alyssa? Usually when they show up at a light, they just stay there. They don't move all night. They just stay there until you shut the lights off. And I think they depend a lot on camouflage in nature. They really blend in when they're sitting on a twig or something. I like the way their abdomen, the tip of their abdomen sticks out beyond their wingtips. Let's take a look. Take a look at the antenna on this one. I think they're a bit feathery. Yeah. Or is that just shadow? Oh no, they're feathery. So this would be a male. Sigmoid prominent. And here's a caddisfly. They're a difficult group. No, it's easier. Here's another caddisfly, or the same one. I think, no, this is a different species. He's flown awesome. They're click beetle again. I don't know if you can see the corner of the pronotum is very pointed. The rear corner on either side. Actually, on its left side, it looks like the tip has been broken off, but on its right side, About the same, I guess. Pick beetles are kind of difficult because there are a lot of species that are about the same size and same coloration. You have to start looking at the shape of the legs, how many spines they have on their legs, and things like that. And I sort of lose interest when I start doing that. All right. So here's our one-eyed sphinx that's still here. But down below, I see there's another one. Or is it? Or is it maybe a different species? What do you think? I know there are two. There's another species that looks like one-eyed sphinx, but it doesn't have. If you look kind of in the middle of the outer wing, you'll see those white veins, the veins that are outlined in white sharply. This species doesn't really show that. It shows a little white crescent there. And the hooks, the pale hooks near the tip of the wing is more pronounced on this one. And it's actually, it's appreciably smaller. It's about 25% smaller than this one. So I think this is a different species. And what is this one called? I should know. Let's take a look at the underwing, see if there's any clue there. If we can get them. Doesn't like that. Oh, I see there's some pink. There's some pink on the inner edge of the hind wing. And there's an eye spot. And notice the eye spot kind of has a pale area, and there's a black band that goes through the pale area. And then, or no, maybe that black band is on the forewing. Obviously it's getting ready to fly. Can't imagine why. Somebody poking at it. Ginger, or Alyssa, or anyone that wants to do a quick search at Google, just try blinded sphinx moth. Hey, Ontario Ruby Reds. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Sorry we don't have any hummingbirds to show you right now, but I can show you some moths. Okay, Chloe. Cereces sphinx. Ceresia is a species. There is a blinded sphinx moth, is what this is. Could you check to see what the scientific name of the blinded sphinx is? Or Chloe, do you know what the common name of Cerisi sphinx moth is? I know there's a Ceresii is a species name for one of the moths, but it's a scientific name, not a common name. It's also a one-eyed sphinx, Smarantha ceresii. Huh, okay. Sorry about that. I thought it was going to be a different species. So this is the original one-eyed sphinx. Ginger says Paeonia successorata. Ginger, does the one that, well, it's flown away now, but did that one look like a match to blinded sphinx? Yes? Okay, good. I'm pretty sure they're two different species. And I know this one is one-eyed sphinx because I've looked it up many times this year already. And hi, Mary. Nice to see you. Yay. Everybody's here. And I think the difference is, like I mentioned, this one-eyed sphinx has these veins in the middle of the forewing, these veins that are outlined in white. And the other species doesn't. The other species does have sort of a white crescent out there. And the white crescents on the wingtips were more pronounced and more contrasting on the other moth. And I think that's another difference between one-eyed sphinx and blinded. But I'll check. I'll check when I get inside and let you all know. Okay. I don't know if Ruby's still there or not, but this is Columbia silk moth. It's been here for a while. Waited for you. And Mary, this is for you too. Gerald's getting horrible feedback. Yeah, anyone is, please let me know. Is it maybe some squeaking in the case of the iPad that you're hearing? Dan says not on that side. These are these Columbia silk moths, Mary, and I don't know if he wants to show you top side of his wings or not. This is a male, has big feathery antenna. Nice big furry legs too. Kind of like a tarantula. A nice moth just landed on my jacket. I don't know if it's going to come to the sheet or not. Sharp-angled carpet moth. There's that green dotted, whatever name we made up for that moth, green dotted glyph. All right, I'll take another quick look around here. Here's a pug, some kind of a pug moth. Our white spring moth. This is called a codling moth, C-O-D-L-I-N-G. And I'm not sure what they feed on, but I'm pretty sure they're introduced from Europe. Again, those bands on the material, there's like dark and light bands. They're 11 millimeters wide, 25 millimeters in an inch, 25.4. So this is well over half an inch. Hydromena, carpet moth, some kind of a Hydromena. There's several species. Commonest one is refracta. That's probably what this is. Its common name is refracted Hydromena. Ooh, this is a nice find. This is a treble called EBLE, treble bar. It's quite rare in New Brunswick. I see one or two every year, and that's it. I think it was first found in New Brunswick in the last 10 years. Treble bar, yep. That's the one landed on my jacket a moment ago. I didn't know where it went. What's this one? This is another Hydromena, but I don't know what species this one is either. Here's our pink barred glyph. Again. Sigmoid prominent. And gray leaf roller. It was a midge, some kind of a midge. That looks more like, well, I don't really know. I mean, this looks like a mosquito to me. I think it probably is. Midges have big furry, like this one, big furry antenna. Or palps, they're probably palps. I think I see the antenna and they're shorter. Rogue beetle. There's a 15 millimeters long. And take one more look over here. Hydromena, some kind of an aquatic beetle. Our one-eyed sphinx still here. Another sigmoid prominent. Cranefly of some kind. codling moth. Three-lined balsa, we saw earlier, feeds on apple. I'm just holding the iPad there, hoping the name will pop into my head, but it's not coming. We've seen it on the stream before, and I actually came up with the name the last time. It's pretty bad. I don't remember it now. Anyway, easily looked up. It's a brother moth here on the old shingles. Take a look. Oh, this could be our blinded sphinx again. Yeah. Probably the same one that just came around to the side of the sheet. Let's see if I can't get better light on it somehow. Nice antenna. Anybody want to guess at that one? Ginger says red-shouldered dart. You're close. I'm sure you're thinking of the right one. It's called flame-shouldered dart. You win. Watch your mailbox. It's a sharp-angled carpet moth on the top, and the white-banded toothed carpet moth on the bottom. Okay, well I think we've covered. Oh my God! Look at this one. Wow, there's a beauty. This one is called the owl-eyed. Wow, owl-eyed bird-dropping moth. Another mouthful. You can see why it's called owl-eyed. Patterns are insane, aren't they? They really are, Brianna. I'm going to try to zoom in a bit and get a bit more stabilized. It's one of my favorite moths. It's not very common. It took me 3 or 4 years of moth watching before I saw my first, but now I get a few every season. Patterning on the back is a camouflage, of course. Helps it to fit in when it's on a tree trunk, looking like bird droppings or lichen. Wow. see if I can do anything to enhance it. I just want the camera to pump up the lighting a little bit. Yeah, the fringe of the wings, markings on the fringe of the outer edge of the wings is amazing. A lot of moths have that same patterning. Wow. Well, that's probably a good way to end the stream. Shouldn't push my luck to try to find anything else. But, of course, I'll take a look. Columbia silk moth is still here. So if you decide you want to try this, it's so simple. You don't even have to have a white sheet. The first couple of years I did it, I just looked at the moths that landed on the shingles of our house. When our house was new, the shingles were sort of pale, buffy color, and they made a good background for photographing moths. But this is just a simple white cotton sheet that I bought secondhand for a couple of dollars, and you can just tack it to a shed, or some people just hang them over a clothesline. And really the only lighting you need, and all I used for a few years, was this is just a simple cheap pole lamp that I bought at a used furniture store, and put a 60, this is actually a 100-watt LCD bulb, $3 or $4. Now I've added a couple of ultraviolet lights. This is a 15-watt ultraviolet fluorescent light, and over here is a 50-watt ultraviolet LED. Ooh, that's another new moth. Adding those ultraviolet lights definitely brought me a few more moths, but really for years I was happy with just the pole lamp, and it's a good, easy way to start. So just try to, if you have a dark yard or a corner of your yard that's quite dark, put the light there and go out and photograph for a couple of hours in the evening, and make sure you turn the lights off as soon as you're finished photographing, so the moths and other insects can go back to what they were doing, rather than sitting around looking at a light. Okay, well, I think we've been streaming for a while now, 66 minutes. I said it wouldn't go beyond an hour. So much for that. Make sure no snakes hang out there. Well, you know, one thing when I first started, I didn't know any better. And I used to leave the back light on when I went to bed. And I would get up in the morning and I was always seeing all these moth wings on the ground, and realized that birds had caught on very quickly, and birds' first light in the morning were at the back door and the front door where I was photographing, grabbing all the moths that hadn't flown away. Because if you leave the lights on, a lot of these moths would just stay here all night off. If I come back here in 15 minutes, there won't be anything here. Nothing. No moths, no other insects of any kind. All right. Well, thank you all. I can't believe how many people showed up tonight. It's just amazing. B Reds, thank you so much for dropping by. Mary, thanks so much. We'll certainly be doing it again. Probably the next one will be tomorrow night. We've got try to stream on all the good nights. Ginger, thank you a million times for all your help transcribing my gibberish into words. Brianna, thank you so much for being here. Dan, you're the man. I'm gonna have to promote you to #1 pretty soon. Have a good night, Dan. And everyone else that was here too. Thank you. Thank you so much. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.